Welcome to the Ancient World channel. If anyone were to ask me which Buddhist scripture offers the deepest wisdom, I would not hesitate to answer immediately. It is the Diamond Sutra. The Diamond Sutra has the power to dispel all ignorance and attachments, guiding sentient beings to attain perfect enlightenment. The wisdom in the Diamond Sutra is both ancient and endlessly profound. The Diamond Sutra is not a cure for illness, yet it resembles a key capable of unlocking the door to all things. If you comprehend the secret of this key, you can achieve everything. This is the most practical mind method, as well as a rare and hard-to-find wisdom. But this is only part of today's video content. All phenomena are like a dream, a bubble, a dewdrop, a flash of lightning. Contemplate them as such. The secret of the Diamond Sutra lies in the last 4 words of each sentence. When read backward from the bottom up, these words combine to form a different meaning. What is that secret? Let's find out in today's video. The Diamond Sutra is one of the most essential scriptures in Mahayana Buddhism, consisting of 32 sections. With the 2 key questions raised by Venerable Subhuti, both of these questions aim toward the common goal of helping practitioners attain supreme enlightenment. It means attaining supreme, equal, and true wisdom. The Diamond Sutra is one of the most essential scriptures in Mahayana Buddhism, divided into 32 sections. With the 2 core issues raised by Venerable Subhuti: how to tame the mind and keep it at peace. A practitioner who attains the highest state of enlightenment achieves supreme, perfect awakening. The Buddha taught that to conquer one's own mind, one must first vow to liberate all sentient beings. But it must be understood that the true nature of sentient beings is formless, not an absolute reality. This means letting go of all illusions, not allowing the mind to be swept away by thoughts of existence or non-existence. Whether form or formless, all such delusions return to the state of non-arising, that is, they cease to arise. When there are no more illusions, the mind will naturally settle into stillness. The Buddha taught that to maintain a peaceful mind, one must not let the mind cling to the 6 sense objects: form, sound, smell, taste, touch, and mental phenomena. A calm mind is one that clearly perceives all phenomena without being affected or disturbed by them. Abiding yet not abiding. However, there remains an issue to clarify. If one gives alms without attachment to form, sound, smell, taste, touch, or dharma, how can the act of giving be carried out? If you see someone hungry and in need, and you want to help them through their hunger, what should you give? It could be rice or money. But both rice and money are material things, aren't they? If we give rice or money to others, it means we are thinking about rice or money. That is, we are already attached to material forms when giving alms. We can use comforting words to help ease their pain, that is sound, or use sweet things, that is scent, and so on. Thus, there must be an object to contemplate in order to perform charity, otherwise, what would one give? If one does not rely on form, sound, scent, taste, touch, or thought to give, then how should one proceed? That is a question that leaves us wondering how to answer it, as well as how to apply it to the path of practice. Not clinging. Therefore, this is precisely the point that confuses most readers of the Diamond Sutra, leaving them unsure of how to practice. We must clearly understand that giving alms is an act of offering, of letting go, not of clinging. Let go, do not cling to sights, sounds, scents, tastes, touches, or thoughts. That is true generosity. Only by not clinging in such a way can the mind truly be master. The reason we waver and become unsettled is because it chases after forms, sounds, scents, tastes, touches, and thoughts. Because the mind clings to the 6 dusts, form, sound, scent, taste, touch, and mental objects. It becomes restless and entangled, captivated by beauty, enchanted by sounds, and infatuated with fragrances, flavors, sensations, and all other worldly phenomena. Because we are trapped in the 6 dusts, sight, sound, scent, taste, touch, and thought, our minds remain restless. Now, when giving is also letting go, no longer clinging to these 6 dusts, the mind naturally becomes calm and still. In the previous section, subduing the mind means that as soon as a distracting thought arises, one recognizes it and returns it to a state of stillness and clarity. In this passage, the Buddha skillfully teaches us that when encountering the sixth sense objects, we should not let the mind cling to them. This is the way to calm and stabilize the mind. When mind and phenomena no longer cling to each other, that is true liberation. The senses are the six dusts. When the mind does not chase after them nor cling to them, that is liberation, that is serene freedom. Therefore, we must clearly understand the practice method. Letting go means releasing attachment to the six dusts. That is the essence. By mastering the mind, dwelling within it is to reach the supreme state. Prajna wisdom is the key element that enables practitioners to fully accomplish both. The Buddha taught that all phenomena arise from the combination of causes and conditions, having no fixed intrinsic nature. They are like a dream, an illusion, a bubble, a fleeting shadow, morning dew, or a flash of lightning. All are transient and illusory. One must use wisdom to clearly perceive this essence, thereby allowing the mind to let go of attachments and forms. When the mind is no longer entangled, the practitioner will attain a state of stillness as if unmoving. It means attaining the supreme truth and complete liberation. The merit of sincerely reciting scriptures, when practiced correctly, is more precious than any form of material charity. Because it does not belong to the transient conditioned phenomena, but to the unconditioned Dharma, neither born nor destroyed. This is the path of contemplating the illusory nature of all phenomena. Subdue the restless mind, then settle it, and ultimately attain enlightenment. Thus, learning and practicing the Diamond Sutra is not merely about reciting or memorizing its verses. More importantly, it is about applying those teachings to actual practice. Transforming the inner self to attain a state of stillness and unwavering composure is to practice and live in harmony with the spirit of Tathagata. In the Diamond Sutra, there is an extremely famous verse, but only those who fully comprehend it can truly grasp its meaning. It will be a significant step forward on the journey toward enlightenment. All phenomena are like a dream, an illusion, a bubble, a shadow. Appearing then vanishing like a flash, calamity comes and goes in an instant. All phenomena are subtle, like a dream, an illusion, a bubble, or a shadow. Just as with bones or electricity, one should contemplate in this manner. The Buddha taught that all things with form and change are subject to the law of arising and ceasing. This is called conditioned phenomena. All conditioned phenomena are like a dream, an illusion, like bubbles vanishing in the rain. All are like shadows, of people, of trees, of objects, illusory, fleeting, like melting dew or a flash of lightning. We must begin reflecting in such a way to avoid attachment, to remain serene and undisturbed amidst all changes. As the Prime Minister for example, when we wear a pristine white shirt. If someone suddenly covered in mud touches your shoulder, how should we react? Is our mind truly at peace? If we're still attached to outward cleanliness, the mere sight of a dirty shirt can instantly stir anger within us. The Buddha taught that enjoyment is also a form of practice, while hunger is merely a state of the body. In the virtual world, immersing yourself in fun moments with friends is pure happiness. But if you exhaust yourself chasing after it, the joy will gradually fade away. Loving wholeheartedly in a relationship is the key to happiness. But if weighed down by the constraints of a relationship, happiness becomes a burden. Observe children when they are engrossed in play. That is when they are happiest and most joyful. This state is almost reaching the realm of enlightenment. Why? Because the child is in their own world, existing within a relationship, yet not bound by external factors. Take care about the outside world, doesn't it? Exists serenely between space and time, playing joyfully without indulgence, its spirit carefree and untainted by worldly dust. Therefore, this joy is entirely different from the fleeting emotions of ordinary sensual desires. The child is lost in joy, unaware they are playing, not even trying to savor the moment. That joy is pure and sincere, for it springs from the unconscious, untainted by thought or emotion. But if the child suddenly utters something while playing joyfully, at that very moment, the truth shatters into pieces. It has detached the mind from its true essence, leaving joy no longer whole as before. Adults need to realize that I am genuinely happy, and I am completely confident in saying so. But that very realization causes them to lose their true happiness. Life is like a game, offering genuine and profound experiences. When you immerse yourself so deeply that you forget to breathe and become one with the game, you'll feel a harmony between yourself and the world around you. When the game ended, that world seemed to vanish along with it. The complete transformation into the character has expanded your presence across the virtual world. You are the one who lights up that space. However, in the game, you fell into a state where you couldn't distinguish anything. Love or hate any character, because you know that it. Losing a person means the world forever loses a piece of its puzzle. You have achieved enlightenment in the game, but didn't bother to delve deeper or think much about it. You don't need to worry about whether you're enlightened or not, whether you're happy, or whether you feel fulfilled. When your mind is completely immersed in the game, you become a different version of yourself, no longer needing any additional thought or awareness. But when you try to analyze it, you get drawn into that game, lost in an endless vortex of distinction and perception. You observe everything in the game with a curious gaze, yet you don't let them control you. You know full well that everything in the game world is just a means to explore and enjoy. You're not overly obsessed with the game, not clinging to the outcome, nor using any element of it to measure the gains and losses of real life. Through this, you'll see that even the most powerful individuals harbor simple fears, while the most ordinary people nurture extraordinary aspirations. Those who sit glued to their screens night after night, passionately discussing worldly affairs on social media, only to drag themselves out of bed at 6 a.m. the next morning to face the trivial worries of everyday life. They still had to blend into the bustling crowd, complain about soaring gas prices, and then return to the familiar cycle between work and daily life. Life may seem simple and ordinary, with nothing particularly special, but only those who truly know how to savor every moment, without dwelling on trivial worries, are the genuinely wise. This is the greatest point of the Diamond Sutra, for it not only transcends all religious beliefs but also embraces all of them within itself. This is a wisdom that transcends all religious boundaries, a profound wisdom unbound by any form. When studying and learning the Diamond Sutra, we should not confine it within the scope of Buddhism alone, but rather set aside the religious form of this scripture. Whether you believe in Buddhism or not, this scripture still contains profound wisdom lessons that bring practical value to your life. As a result, we can free ourselves from sorrow, find joy in life, and make our existence more meaningful. First and foremost, keep your mind calm and composed. The scripture records that at that time, the Blessed One would often don his robe, take his alms bowl, and enter the city to beg for alms. Trong Tan went from house to house to beg for alms, then returned to his usual spot, ate his meal, washed his feet, tidied his meditation mat, and sat in meditation. At first glance, this passage appears to merely depict an ordinary moment in the daily life of the Buddha, with nothing supernatural or unusual about it. But upon deeper reflection, one realizes that even those of supreme wisdom, who transcend worldly affairs and are revered by all beings. The daily life of the Buddha was no different from that of ordinary monks. He went out to beg for alms by himself, washed his own feet, and after the meal, he sat in meditation to relax. Everything is simple, ordinary, yet conceals an infinite greatness. In terms of status, the Buddha is revered by countless disciples and Dharma protectors. If you'd like, the disciples can serve you every meal and attend to even the smallest needs for you. But the Buddha did not do so. He chose a simple life, using his own humble existence to embody the truth. At the same time, it provides beings with the opportunity to cultivate merit. The truest truths are always hidden in the simplest things around us. When the ordinary reaches its peak, it becomes extraordinarily sublime. The true sage always perceives the sublime hidden within the simple, and through seemingly simple actions, they gradually cultivate and awaken to a higher realm. As the ancients often said, cultivating virtue is inherently a good thing. Everyone knows this, and there's nothing difficult about it. Eating a meal in this world is hardly a difficult thing to do. The Diamond Sutra teaches that to truly comprehend this, one must maintain a serene and tranquil mind. Eating rice and wearing clothes is the way, maintaining an ordinary mind is also the way. An ordinary mind is a state of mind directed toward the highest good, everything will be fine. Not minding gain or loss, victory or defeat. That is serenity, gentleness, generosity, and composure. When a vegetarian maintains an ordinary state of mind, whatever they are doing, whether meditating, walking, or eating, they all exude a sense of peace, harmony, and serenity. Next is the step of stabilizing the mind. The scripture teaches that one must learn to master their own thoughts and how to attain supreme enlightened wisdom. The Diamond Sutra teaches that subduing one's own mind is the essential point. Mastering the mind is the process of gaining control and overcoming disturbances and turmoil within the soul. It is the endless wandering thoughts and vague worries that give rise to distress. When you learn to master these disturbances, your mind will become calm and peaceful, and wisdom will naturally unfold. This is the essence of the Buddha's teachings, aimed at helping beings free themselves from suffering. When the mind is calm and serene, you will find all troubles gradually dissolve, and true happiness naturally reveals itself. And the path to enlightenment will reveal itself more clearly than ever before. If a person lacks inner peace, no matter how much fame or wealth they possess, they will never find true contentment. In society, many people, despite working hard, owning homes and cars, and living a materially comfortable life without worrying about basic needs, still do not feel at peace within themselves. They keep comparing themselves to people with mansions and luxury cars, then feel inferior, moping around in gloom and frustration all day. We feel pain and sorrow because our hearts are filled with too much sadness. When those desires go unfulfilled, we suddenly feel frustrated, resentful, and miserable. Even when a desire is fulfilled, we still fear losing what we have or crave even greater desires. Thus, my soul remains forever drowned in a sea of sorrow, unable to escape. It's hard to maintain a good mood when your heart is weighed down by so many sorrows. Even amid troubles, we may have already attained inner peace. Buddhism teaches that in just a single moment of thought, a person can give rise to 84,000 afflictions. The Buddha taught that the essence of spiritual practice lies in maintaining one's mindfulness, meaning one must learn to master the mind and fully control all thoughts. Use every means to stop the chaotic thoughts, the baseless and idle imaginations. When thoughts cease, the suffering they cause will naturally dissolve. The third is the mind of dedication, as mentioned in the scriptures. A bodhisattva performs good deeds without attachment and gives without clinging. The bodhisattva makes no distinction between self and others, nor separates sentient beings from the recipients of compassion. When initiating a thought or action, a bodhisattva always maintains a pure mind, free from attachment to outcomes and without any desires. For example, when giving alms, a bodhisattva acts with a mind free from expectation of reward and without discrimination toward the recipient. After completing that task, let go of all thoughts about it. Thus, the merit is fully perfected and complete. From the moment we are born until we grow up, everyone always receives help from those around them. From family and friends to society. But how many have paused to ask themselves what they have truly given to the world? Be grateful for everything you receive. And if possible, please reply with all sincerity. Gratitude will make this world a more beautiful place. On life's journey, everyone has moments of giving love and moments of receiving kindness from others. Therefore, gratitude between people is extremely important. Some feel they don't have enough for themselves, even thinking they have nothing to share. But in reality, all it takes is a sincere greeting, a warm heart, and a friendly smile. Anything you do to benefit others is an act of generosity. Do not overlook small good deeds, thinking them insignificant. When giving becomes a habit, you'll find that the greatest joy lies in witnessing the happiness of others. True giving is when we expect nothing in return. That is genuine generosity, unconditional sacrifice. And next is the signless mind, as explained in the Diamond Sutra through the passage. All that has form is illusory. If you see that form is not form, then you see the Tathagata. That is to say, everything that exists in form in this world is merely an illusion. Those things are all born from the mind, just like when you dream of drowning, or see friends and loved ones in a dream. But in reality, they don't actually exist. If you truly understand that all phenomena are mere illusions, you will realize that everything is subject to birth, death, and change. Indeed, they are inherently neither born nor destroyed, no different from illusions. You too can be unborn and undying. When you realize all phenomena are illusory, you will penetrate the true nature of all things, the deathless, birthless Dharmakaya. From the vast universe to the tiniest dust particles, from a vast nation to a small family, from the world of emotions to the tangible world of matter. Everything follows the law of dependent origination, existing and changing based on specific conditions. Nothing is permanently unchanging. Human life is like a film reel, with its ups and downs, moments of quiet serenity, times of radiant warmth, and other moments plunged into fierce storms. Those scenes stir in us love and hate, joy and sorrow, fleeting as they come and go. Finally, I suddenly realized I had lived my whole life as an actor, relentlessly playing roles scripted by others, never once daring to be myself. As time passes and you look back on life, will you still insist that your child must be the top student, do everything perfectly, or achieve the highest accomplishments? Do you really need to live in overly extravagant houses, wear the most expensive clothes, dine on the most lavish meals, or travel in the most luxurious vehicles? Do you really want to repay hurt with hurt? What you chase and cling to all your life, in the end, you cannot take with you when you go. Let those who have loved, hurt, resented, or caused you pain come when they need to and leave when they must. When you let go of all attachments, you'll find yourself whole and unchanged, no longer swept away by others or entangled in anything. Only then do you truly return to the most authentic essence of yourself. And the scriptures also teach about the diligent mind, as the Buddha often reminded the monks. Once you understand the teachings, let them go, like a raft used to cross a river. Once you reach the other shore, you should leave the raft behind. How much more so for things that are not even the teachings? This means that even the Dharma should not be clung to, just like a raft used to cross a river. Once you reach the other shore, you should let it go. All phenomena are empty. Do not settle for existing knowledge or experience, but continuously broaden your horizons. Old ideas, even if they once served you well, must eventually be let go in order to constantly surpass yourself and achieve remarkable growth. Some people believe Buddhism is pessimistic, fearing that practicing it may weaken their will to strive, and thus hesitate to embark on the path of spiritual cultivation. But in essence, Buddhism is not pessimistic. Letting go in Buddhism does not mean abandoning everything, but rather releasing attachment and clinging. When you are no longer weighed down by mental burdens, you are free to unleash your creativity and make continuous progress. Letting go does not strip you of life's motivation. On the contrary, it allows you to live more fully, deeply, and meaningfully. In essence, this is a misunderstanding of Buddhism from a mundane perspective. A kind-hearted intention is truly precious. From the Buddhist viewpoint, a benevolent mind is always esteemed and encouraged. The Buddha advises us to strive ceaselessly but without excessive attachment. Move forward to embody humanity's lofty aspirations and unwavering will. However, when pursuing a goal, success brings pride, but failure brings shame. This is a manifestation of attachment and placing excessive importance on success. Moreover, in the pursuits we follow, we often make subjective judgments about their worth. This leads us to exaggerate the importance of our goals. When we fail to achieve them, we easily fall into suffering. Moreover, we often cling tightly to our own experiences and methods, seeing them as the best way to achieve success. This can easily lead to complacency and closed-mindedness, making us unwilling to accept input from others. This stubbornness can lead to conflict, making life exhausting, worrisome, and stressful. To advance without carrying burdens, one must possess the wisdom of letting go. Understand that all things arise from the interplay of causes and conditions. Only then can we transcend attachment to form, freeing the mind to strive wholeheartedly while maintaining inner peace and ease. The Diamond Sutra teaches the concept of a non-attached mind with these words. To understand the true meaning is to realize that all phenomena are illusory. We must cultivate a pure mind to attain perfect enlightenment. Do not let the mind cling to forms, sounds, scents, tastes, touches, or memories. As long as the mind remains attached to these things, it is the deluded mind of an ordinary being. A mind free from attachment does not mean abandoning all thoughts or actions, but rather not clinging to anything. Non-attachment does not prevent us from forming ideas or carrying out deeds. One should engage with the material world while maintaining a serene and unburdened heart. Only then can one deeply comprehend the teachings of the Buddha. In today's era, we live in a society that prioritizes materialism, pragmatism, and a pleasure-seeking lifestyle. Many people no longer care about life ideals or responsibilities toward their country and community, instead focusing only on matters like movies, stocks, fashion, cuisine, or the private lives of celebrities. The world before our eyes may be dazzling and enticing, but it can also easily lead people astray. Enjoying the fruits of material civilization is a legitimate right of humanity. However, we should not become slaves to materialism, as placing hedonism above all else will leave the spirit increasingly hollow, causing us to lose our spiritual foundation. The concept of non-attachment in the Diamond Sutra can help people alleviate stress, maintaining a serene mind amidst the whirlpool of desires. By applying the profound wisdom of prajna, one can sever all bonds and cravings. From there, elevate spiritual life, achieving the radiant light and purity of the soul. Humans not only need a materially sufficient life but also a rich spiritual one. True wealth lies in the richness of the soul. The most genuine happiness springs from deep contentment within the heart. Yet, people often torment themselves needlessly. If the mind is filled with chaos and idle fantasies, even a magnificent palace is no different from a prison. Even indulging in the finest delicacies would be like swallowing poison. The ancients often said, "A peaceful mind brings peace to all things." When the heart is at ease, everything becomes light and effortless. Even a simple meal feels delicious. For inner tranquility is the most precious treasure in life. Even if you eat simple meals of plain rice and humble vegetables, live in a modest little house, but have a peaceful and contented soul, life is still far better than indulging in lavish feasts or luxurious mansions. The past mind cannot be grasped, the present mind cannot be grasped, the future mind cannot be grasped. This means the past mind, present mind, or future mind cannot be grasped. What has passed should be let go. Do not cling to old matters. In life, many people remain lost in pride or regret over the past. Successes or mistakes from bygone days have all flowed away like water, impossible to retrieve. If one keeps trying to seek the truth about themselves in what has passed, it is an impossible pursuit. Just like the past, the future is an uncertain haze no one can predict. If we endlessly dwell on the future, it's merely a way of placing our faith in indefinite guesses. When the mind turns toward tomorrow, it often gets tangled in speculation, daydreams, and distant hopes. People often cling to the illusion that truth or true happiness lies ahead. But the reality is, the future has not yet arrived, and everything we imagine remains vague and distant. Present. We often cannot let go of attachments because we are bound by the mind of the past, the mind of the present, or the mind of the future. Clinging to illusory thoughts prevents us from attaining spiritual liberation. The mind of the past has faded, the mind of the present does not linger, and the mind of the future has not yet come into being. None of them can be grasped. Understanding this, we learn to let go of all attachments in the mind. Only then can we see everything with true clarity, releasing gently without entanglement. Thus, the soul becomes free, body and mind feel light, and all suffering gradually fades away. Mind following conditions. Humans are but fleeting travelers between heaven and earth. How can one forever cling to what they cherish? All things in this world are merely borrowed for temporary use. No one has the right to possess them eternally. When we realize that all phenomena arise and perish due to causes and conditions, we see clearly our true nature, transcending all attachments, suffering, fame, gain, and the vain temptations of this world. From then on, the soul becomes pure, letting go of all attachments, no longer bound by frivolous things. Only by letting go of all attachments can we truly live freely, embracing life's ups and downs with ease, whether in joy or sorrow. All things come and go according to fate. Understanding this truth is the key to unlocking the door to peace and genuine happiness. Live and work with a mindset of going with the flow of nature. When favorable circumstances arise, Cherish the blessings, seize opportunities to nurture your career, and embrace life's joys fully. When adversity strikes, meet it with calm acceptance, gently overcoming challenges. Keep your soul serene, wear a peaceful smile, and live a life as light as drifting clouds. Thus, whether facing favorable or adverse circumstances, one can calmly confront the joys and sorrows, loves and hates, unions and separations, as well as the ups and downs of life. Rising above success and failure, honor and disgrace, gain and loss, even life and death itself. Live in harmony with fate, let go of all attachments, and you will comprehend the profound wisdom of life. If you have patiently read these lines, surely you are one who sincerely seeks the Buddha's path. Thank you very much. If today's sharing was helpful to you, please hit like to support us and leave a comment. Kim Kong, Heart Sutra. This act of devotion will bring you greater blessings, expand your wisdom, and create virtuous conditions to reach a state of peace. Such merit is truly immeasurable and beyond reckoning. Now, it's time to say goodbye, and I'll see you all in the upcoming videos.